Welcome, folks, and this is Basant Sharma, and we are studying permutations and combinations right now. So, by the way, in the last class, there was some calculation mistake that I was talking about. So, you see, when we were calculating the coefficient of x to the power 9 in this expression, then actually I missed a term of x cube here. Okay, so there will be one more term of x cube here. So now when you calculate, you can see that you will get the coefficient of x to the power n would be 1 will get multiplied by x to the power 9, so 1 you will get from here. Then for x square you will get x to power 7 from here, so 1. Then similarly 1 for x cube, 1 for x to power 4, then 2 for x to the power 6 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. So you will get 2 plus 2 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so let's continue. Let's solve some problems. Okay, so the first question is find the question is find the number of integers. Okay, so find the number of integers between 1 and 10 to the power 6 which have sum of the digits equal to 12. Okay, all right. So you see, including 1 and 10 to the power 6. Okay, including 1 and 10 to the power 6. Now you see, you can think of this question like this. See, a general number which is less than or equal to 10 to the power 6. Okay, which is less than equal to 10 to the power 6 and greater than equal to 1. A general number uh, less than or equal to a general number which is a 6-digit number. See, what you do is write down 6 places. Okay, so any general number which is less than or equal to 10 to the power 6 will look like this, where this is the units place, this is the tenth place, 100,000, 10,000 and 10 to the power fifth place. Okay, now where x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 and x6, they will belong to 0, 1, 2 till 9. All right, and we want x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 to be equal to 12, because these are these digits. Okay, any general number which is less than or equal, which has less than or equal to 6 digits, which has less than or equal to 6 digits, can be written like this, and the sum of the digits I am given should be equal to 12. Okay, so each digit can take value between 0 to 9. All right. Okay, now for example, if x1 is 0, suppose x1 is 0, x2 is 0, and x3 is, let's say, 9, and x4 equal to x5 equal to x6 equal to 1. Okay, then the number will be 009111. Okay, this is nothing but 9111. All right, so then this is just a usual problem. You have to find the number of integral solutions of this equation subject to the condition that such that xi is less than equal to 9 and greater than equal to 0. All right, Okay. Now the required number of integers will then be coefficient of x to the power 12 in. Okay. Now uh, this will be now you have six variables, so this will be x to the power 0 plus x to the power 1 so on till x to the power 9. Okay, and this will there will be six factors, so into 6. Okay, now okay, note that it includes the case. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is what you have to solve. Simple. So this is nothing but coefficient of e to x to the power 12 in this sum is 1 minus x to the power 10 upon 1 minus x to the power 6. Okay, now you can easily calculate the coefficient. This will be 1 minus x to the power 10 to the power 6 into 1 minus x to the power minus 6. Okay, if you expand this, you want coefficient of x to the power 12. So if you expand this, this is 1 minus 6c1 x to the power 10, and uh, now remaining powers are irrelevant because they will be more than 12, right? The second power will be x to the power 20, so that is so you can ignore all the remaining powers. So just take till here into 1 minus x to the power 1 minus x to the power minus 6. Okay, so this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 12 in 1 minus x to the power minus 6 minus 6c1 into coefficient of x to the power 10 is already there, so you want coefficient of x to the power 2 in 1 minus x to the power minus 6. Okay, so this is nothing but 12 plus 6 minus 1 c6 minus 1 minus 6c1 into 2 plus 6 minus 1 c6 minus 1. So this is 17c5 minus 6c1 into 7c5. This is your answer. All right, pretty straightforward question. You just have to model it correctly. Okay. All right. The next question is, now suppose you have six distinct dice. Okay. Suppose you have six distinct dice and you want to get a sum greater than 17. So the question is, in how many ways can we get a sum greater than 17 by throwing six distinct dice? Okay. Okay. Now again you can solve this using multinomial theorem, but the thing is you have to model it correctly. So one way to do it would be, for example, you can use the bijection rule here. You see, because if you think about it, and these things will come with practice, how to think about the solution and which solution will work and which won't work, which is lengthier, which is shorter. Okay, so you see, total number of ways to get any sum, the total number of ways would be how many? There will be, see, you have six dice, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so first dice has six options, second dice has six options, all are distinct. Okay, so you will have 6 to the power 6 ways, because it matters. See, this thing and this thing, although the numbers are the same, but the ordering is different. So because they are distinct dice, that's why these orders are different cases. Okay, so that's why we have 6 to the power 6. Okay, now total number of ways. Now unfavorable cases equal to what will be the unfavorable cases? When sum is less than equal to 17. All right, now when sum is less than equal to 17, this is very easy to calculate. Okay, this is easy to calculate. Essentially what you are asking is, you want to find number of solutions of x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 less than equal to 17, where each variable can take the value between 1 and 6. Okay, let's say this is your star. But now till now we have encountered only the cases where we had equality. So how to handle these inequality, how to handle this inequality? Well, the standard way of doing it is we introduce a dummy variable. Introduce a dummy variable. Alright, so that introduce a dummy variable x7, okay, such that x7 can take the value from 0 to, and we will see what the upper limit would be, although it does not matter. It does not matter what's the upper limit. We will see in a moment why is that. Introduce a dummy variable x7 such that x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 plus x7 becomes equal to 17. See, this sum is less than equal to 17. That is, the maximum value is 17. Okay. So what I am doing is, if I add something to it such that this becomes equal to 17, right? I can add something to it so that it becomes equal to 17, and that something is this x7, which can take values from x greater than equal to 0. Now see, let's see why it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense because suppose x1, summation of x1 till x6, suppose that was exactly equal to 17. Okay, then in that case your x7 will be 0. Okay, then one solution could be when x7 is 1, right? So in that case this sum x1 to x6, that will be 16. If this is 2, then this will be 15. If this is 3, this will be 14, and so on. What is the, now if you observe, what is the maximum value this x7 can take? You see, x1 to x6, they can take minimum value 1. Okay, so x7 should be less than equal to 11, right? If x7 is 12, then only 5 objects are remaining which have to be distributed among 6 people, but that is not possible, which is in such a way such that the condition that each one of them should get at least 1 is satisfied. Okay, so x7 can take a maximum of 11 as the value, but that is irrelevant. You will see for yourself. You see, now you will see in a moment, but for now what is important is this, that number of solutions of this equation, the star, is the same as number of solutions to this equation. Okay, number of solutions to summation xi I equal to 1 to 6 equal to less than equal to 17 is the same as number of solutions to summation xi I equal to 1 to 7 equal to 17, where x7 is now the dummy variable. Okay, and because corresponding to every solution here, if see, it is very simple. It is very simple to see. Suppose you have a solution where x1 to x6, let's say you fix some value of x7, okay, then let's say x7 is 1, then x1 to x6 should be 16, right? So all those solutions where x1 to x6 is 16, sum is 16, that is included here. Okay, here, and that is included here also, because once you fix x7 is equal to 1, then all possible solutions where x1 to x6 is 16, that is included here also. See, if you look at the solutions of this, what are they? They are nothing but okay, now I hope this makes sense, that number of solutions of this inequality is the same as the number of solutions of this, right? Because we have just introduced a dummy variable, and that dummy variable is taking care of the excess values, right? If x7 is 0, for example, then your question is, what are the number of solutions to summation, what are the number of solutions to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 equal to 17. Okay, so all those solutions, they will be part of the answer. Okay, if x7 is 1, then all those solutions where this summation is equal to 16, that will be part of the solution, and so on. Okay, so introducing a dummy variable does not affect the number of solutions. Think on this, ponder on this. Okay. Okay. uh, okay. By the way, another way to think about it is, you see, you have this thing, right? So you can say that case 1 is when summation xi I equal to 1 to 6. Again, I'm repeating the same thing. This is equal to 17. Another mutually exclusive case is I equal to 1 to 6, xi is equal to 16. Okay. Now, this is equivalent to saying that x7 is 0. This is equivalent to saying that x6 is 1, x7 is 1, and so on till the minimum that you can go is, when you have summation xi I equal to 1 to 6 equal to 6. Okay, and this corresponds to x7 is equal to 11. So you see, all of these are equivalent cases. This situation and this situation is exactly the same. So number of solutions to this and number of solutions to this is exactly the same. All right, now number of solutions to this where xi is less than equal to 6, greater than equal to 1 for I equal to 1 to 6, and x7 is between 11 and 0. Alright, this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 17 in x plus x square plus so on till x to the power 6 to the power 6 into 1 plus x plus so on till x to the power 11. Okay, so this is nothing but now you can just simplify, right? Now you can just simplify. This is, you can take yeah, so this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 17 in, you take x common, this is 1 plus x till x to the power 5, and this is 1 plus x so on till x to the power 11. This 6 gets, you can take it out, and so you want coefficient of x to the power 11 in 1 minus x to the power 6 upon 1 minus 6, and this is to the power 6 into 1 plus x so on till x to the power 11. Okay, now again there is no logic here, it is just computation. Okay, so yeah, so now what you can do is, now see, it's basically calculation. So this is 1 minus x to the power 6 to the power 6, 1 minus x to the power minus 6, and this is 1 minus x to the power 12 upon 1 minus x, so this will become 7. Okay, now you see, this x to the power 12, this will not contribute anything because you want coefficient of x to the power 11. So this can be ignored. So basically what you want is coefficient of x to the power 11 in 1 minus x to the power minus 7 into 1 minus x to the power 6 to the power 6. This factor can be ignored because only one multiplication by 1 will be important. This will be ignored. Okay, sorry about that. And this is nothing but if you expand this is 1 minus 6c1 x to the power 6, and again remaining terms you can ignore, and then you have 1 minus x to the power minus 7. So this is nothing but coefficient of 1 into this, so coefficient of x to the power 11 in, okay, so this is 1 minus x to the power minus 7 minus 6c1 into, so coefficient of x to the power 11 in this minus 6c1. Now x to the power 6 is already there, so coefficient of 5, coefficient of x to the power 5 in 1 minus x to the power minus 7. So this is nothing but 17, this is 11, 18, 17c6 minus 6 into This will be 5 plus 12, 11, 11c6. 11c6 or 11c5, same thing. Okay, so these are your number of solutions. These are your number of solutions, number of ways in which you can get a sum less than equal to 17. Okay, these are the number of ways in which you can get a sum less than equal to 17. So required answer would be 6 to the power 6 minus 17c6 minus 6 into 11c5. Okay. Okay. Now let's move forward and let's solve some more questions. Okay. So the next question is, okay, suppose you have, let's say, 10 Indians, okay, 10 Americans, and 10 Indians, 8 Americans, and 6 Israelis. Okay, and suppose I ask you to select 6 men out of these available, such that at least one from each nationality is selected. At least one from each nationality is selected. Okay, now note that, assume it is given to you, assume that only nationality is important. What I mean to say is that it does not matter, for example, which Indian is selected, okay, which Indian is selected, or which American is selected, or which Israeli is selected. Okay, so basically what you have is, essentially what this means is, you have 3 different objects, which is one Indians, you have Americans, and you have Israelis, and you have 10 copies available of these, you have 8 copies available of these, and you have 6 copies available of these. Okay, it does not matter which Indian you select. Okay, the selection of a particular Indian is not important. Okay, so all these are, you can say, identical copies. Okay, now I will modify the question later when it begins to matter which Indian, Israeli, or American is selected. We will solve that question after this problem. Okay, now how to do this now? Now, one method is, of course, if you are not comfortable with PNC and you want to use brute force, then you can make cases. Okay, let's say you have Indians, you have Americans, and you have Israelis. Okay, then what are the ways? You can select 4 Indians, 1 American, 1 Israeli, or you can select 1 Indian, 4 Americans, 1 Israeli, 114, and you can make so on. You can make case 231, 132, or 213. Then last case, one of the cases would be 222, and so on. And you will find that there are 10 ways. Okay, this is one bad way of solving it. If nothing clicks and nothing strikes your mind, then you can use this method in the worst case scenario, and if you have a lot of time. Okay, second method would be, which is much better, method 2 and method 3. Method 2 is, you think like this: you have to select 6 men, right? And we have all, I think I already mentioned this. If you recall, in the last lecture I told you that, in the application of multinomial theorem, under that section I told you that if you have L1 objects of type 1, L2 objects of type 2, L3 objects of type 3, then to select n objects, all you have to do, so you have L1 is 10, your L2 is 8, your L3 is 6, and your n is 6. So what you are essentially looking at is coefficient of x to the power 6 in the expansion of x plus x square, so on till x to the power 10 into x plus x square so on till x to the power 8 into x plus x square into so on till x to the power 6. Okay, now you can find the coefficient of x to the power 6 in this. So x cube will, you can take x common from each of these. So basically you're looking at coefficient of x cube in 1 plus so on till x to the power 9 into 1 plus x to the power 7 into 1 plus so on till x to the power 5. Okay, this is what you're looking at. All right, and again this is nothing but 1 minus x to the power 10 into 1 minus x to the power 8, 1 minus x to the power 6 into 1 minus x to the power minus 3. All right, now so if you calculate this, if you open the brackets, you will see that the only terms which are important are you have 1 into 1 into 1, this is important, and rest everything is irrelevant. So basically you're looking at coefficient of x cube in 1 minus x to the power minus 3, which is nothing but this is 5c2, okay, which is 10. Okay, this is one way of looking at this, which is an application of multinomial theorem, which we already discussed. Third method is it is actually the same thing, but a different perspective. You see, you have 6 identical places to fill. You have 6 identical places. Think of 6 identical places or placeholders. Okay, now I'm saying identical because see, this 6 people that you have to select, these places by themselves have no identity until and unless you put an Indian or American or Israeli at this place, right? Before this, these places have no identity. So think of these as 6 identical places, okay, which you want to distribute amongst 3 different objects. And what are those 3 different objects? That is I, AM and Israelis. Okay, such that each gets at least one. So now the problem is familiar to you, because we have 6 identical objects which you want to distribute amongst 3 different objects amongst 3 different persons, such that each gets at least one. So give one object each to each of them. So, and what remains is 3 places. These 3 places can be arbitrarily distributed amongst I, AM and Israelis. And what are the ways of that? N plus R minus 1 C R minus 1, which is nothing but 3 plus 3 minus 1 C 3 minus 1, which is 5C2. Okay. Yet another way of looking at this problem is this. Suppose X is the number of Indians, Y is the number of Americans, and Z is the number of Israelis. Okay. So what you are looking at is, we want number of integral solutions of this thing, where X is greater than equal to 1, Y is greater than equal to 1, Z is greater than equal to 1. Okay. Alright. Okay. Now, you see, one way to solve this is, you can say that this is nothing but this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 6 in, again this is the same thing, this is method 1 only, coefficient of x to the power 6 in this, right, coefficient of x to the power 6 in this product, this. Alright, this is the same thing, but you can simplify it again. You can say that what you can do is x is greater than equal to 1. So there is one more method here, not method, this is a different perspective, this is a different way of solving it. Essentially these are the same methods, okay, there is no difference. It's just like saying the same thing in a different way. Okay, so what you can do is, x is greater than equal to 1. So what you can do is, if x is greater than equal to 1, then you can say that x is equal to 1 plus x dash, where x dash is greater than equal to 0. Okay, then similarly you can put y is equal to 1 plus y dash, where y dash is greater than equal to 0, and z is equal to 1 plus z dash, where z dash is greater than equal to 0. Okay, now you substitute this in this equation. So you will get x dash plus y dash plus z dash is equal to 3. So basically your solutions, your number of solutions to this equation is nothing but the number of solutions to this equation where x dash is greater than equal to 0, y dash is greater than equal to 0 and z dash is greater than equal to 0. Okay, and the number of solutions to this equation is nothing but 3 plus 3 minus 1 c3 minus 1, which is 5c2. Okay, so this is yet another way of looking at this thing. Okay, now the next thing is, suppose it matters which Indian is selected or which Israeli is selected or which American is selected, then how will you do it? Then this method will fail, because this method, the current method that we have used, that assumes implicitly that it does not matter which Indian or American or Israeli is selected, because see, only when we are calculating the number of solutions, for example this case, when we for example, if method 1 is used in the first case, when 4 Indians, 1 American and 1 Israeli is selected, this is one case, right? Now we never said that which 4 Indians are selected, right? We just said that only total 4 Indians are selected, without ever bothering about which 4 Indians are selected, right? So if we want to use, for example, if you want to say if it matters which Indians or Israeli or American is selected, then for first case the answer now for the new question, for example for this 411, for the new question, that is, it matters which one is selected. Then for example, if 4 Indians are selected, 1 American is selected and 1 Israeli is selected, then your solution would be, let's say 10c4 into 8c1 into 6c1. That will be your case 1. Then case 2 will be, let's say 141. So this will be 10c1 into 8c4 into 6c1 and so on. And then you can add all those and you will get your answer. But again, this is not a very good way of solving this question. Okay, this is not a very nice way of solving this question. What you can do instead is, you see, what are the total number of ways of selecting 6 people out of, you have 10 Indians, 8 Americans and 6 Israelis. So you have total 24 people. What are the total number of ways of selecting 6 out of them? That is 24c6. Now this takes into account the fact that now this 24c6 includes the possibility that includes the situation when which we are, see, essentially we are asking that it matters which one is selected. So that thing is included in this. So, okay, which Indian is selected or which Israeli is selected, which American is selected, all those cases are included in this. But these are the total number of cases. It also includes those cases when no Israeli is there, no Indian is there, no American is there, all those cases also, which are unfavorable. We want at least one person from each country. Okay, so let's see what are the unfavorable cases. If you remember, we have done not exactly the same question, but a similar logic we have used in one of the questions before, and that question was I think about 9 different objects which were distributed amongst 3 persons. Okay, so there the solution was something like 3 to the power 9 minus 2 to the power n minus 2 into minus 3 into 1 to the power 9, something like this. If you remember, if you have seen the previous lectures, then you would remember that something like this we have done. So the logic that was used there would be used here as well. So 24c6 minus the one of the unfavorable cases is no Indian is selected. Okay, no Indian is selected and at least 1 American and 1 Israeli selected. Okay, this is one of the unfavorable cases, when no Indian is selected and at least 1 American and 1 Israeli selected, minus no American, okay, no American and at least 1 Indian and 1 Israeli selected. Okay, minus no Israeli Okay, no Israeli is selected, and one Indian and one American is selected. Okay, this is one. Then lastly, minus no Americans, no American and no Indian selected. Okay, see, the first unfavorable case is that one of the nationality is missing, and at least one of the other two nationalities are there. Okay, these are the three cases. Then one case would be when two nationalities are missing. So no American, no Indian, minus no Indian, no Israeli. Okay, minus no Israeli, no no American, no Israeli, no Indian, no Israeli, and no Israeli and no American. Okay, so these are your unfavorable cases. Okay, no Indian is selected, at least one American and one Israeli selected, minus no American selected, one Israeli, one Indian selected, so on and this. So now let's see what is this quantity. No Indian is selected, and one Israeli and one American at least they are selected. Okay, so you have finally 24C6 minus. Okay, now if no Indian is selected, then that means you have 14 people out. You have 8 Americans and 6 Israelis to choose from. Okay, so basically total number of remaining would be 14C6. Okay, but out of these there will be cases when you know all Americans are selected or all Israelis are selected, right? So you subtract those, which is nothing but this, right? This is, these are, see, you remove the Indians, so you have 8 Americans and 6 Israelis left. So 14C6 is the number of ways you can choose 6 people from 14 people. Okay, such that no Indian is selected. But out of these 14C6, there will be ways in which all Israelis are selected, so you subtract those. Okay, and then there will be ways in which all Americans are selected, so you subtract those. Okay, similarly, when no American is selected and at least one Israeli and one Indian is selected, then you have 16C6 minus those cases when all Israelis are selected. Okay, and those cases when all Indians are selected. Okay, so this gives you no American selected and at least one Israeli and at least one Indian selected. Similarly, you have when no Israeli is selected, then you have 10 Indians and 8 Americans, so 18C6 minus 10C6 minus 8C6. Okay, now you have the last cases, which are no American and no Israeli selected, no American and no, when two nationalities are missing. So you have, that is, you have to select all the 6 people from the Indians itself, so 10C6 minus, similarly, when all Americans are there, minus when all Israelis are there. So finally this is your answer. Okay, this thing is your answer. Now if you look at it, if you simplify this, there is one more way of understanding this. If you simplify this, this is nothing but 24C6 minus 14C6 minus 16C6 minus 18C6 plus 6C6 plus 8C6 plus 10C6. All right. Yeah. All right. Now you see, this is your final answer. Okay. Now there is one more way to understand this, to understand what's going on. You see, 24C6 is the total number of ways of selecting 6 people from 24 people. Okay. And you see, 14C6, you subtract from it those cases when no Indian is selected. Then you subtract those cases when you have no American is selected. And you subtract from these when no Israeli is selected. Okay. But for example, in this, when no Indian is selected, there will be cases when no American is selected. You see, there will be some cases which are being deducted twice, and those cases which are being deducted twice are precisely the cases when all are Israelis all are Americans or all are Indians. Okay, so think about this. Okay, this is another way of thinking about it, that in these, when we subtracted 14C6, 16C6 and 18C6, 6C6, 8C6 and 10C6 are actually being deducted twice, here also, and here also. Okay, so we added them once to make up for the deduction which was done twice. Okay, so think on this. So this is another way of looking at it. Otherwise, this is how you do it. This is the complete solution, this box. Okay, and if you simplify it, you will get this thing. All right. Okay, now let's move ahead. Let's say we have let's say we have the equation xyz is equal to 24. Okay, and I want to find the total number of positive integral solutions. Positive integral solutions. Positive. Okay, not non-negative. That is positive integral solutions of xyz equal to 24. Okay, so how to do this? So basically, in these type of questions, what you do is you factorize this into, you write the prime factorization of these. This is nothing but 2 cube into 3. Okay, so essentially your problem is you have 3 2's and 1 3. Okay, which you have to distribute amongst 3 different persons, which are x, y and z. Okay, and a person may get nothing. A person may get nothing also, in which case the person actually gets a 1. Okay, what I'm saying is this 3, for example, this 3 can either go to x or y or z, so that there are 3C1 ways. Okay, and you have 3 2's. You have 3 2's which are 3 identical 2's which can be distributed amongst 3 persons in how many ways? 3 plus 3 minus 1, see 3 minus 1. So your answer would be 3 into 10 equal to 30. Now it may so happen that let's say 3 goes here. Okay, and all the 3 2's, they also go here. Okay, then in this case x will not get anything, which is, so what that means is we will assume that x actually is 1, and similarly we can say that y actually is 1. Okay, don't think that it is 0. It's not 0. It's just that when everything goes to z, so basically z is 24. Sorry. So x and y are actually 1 each. They have the value 1. That's it. Okay. Alright. Now in the same question, if I say find the total number of integral solutions, that is, if I allow negative factors also, then how many solutions will you get? You see, you have xyz equal to 24, right? You have xyz equal to 24. So essentially, product of if you allow negative factors also, then you can have only 2 factors which can be negative at the same time, right? So for total number of integral solutions such that negative factors are also allowed, any 2 factors can be negative. So answer in that case would be 30 is the answer, which was previous answer, that is when all the factors are positive, plus select any 2 factors to which negative sign is to be given. Select any 2 factors, for example x or z, select any 2 factors to which negative sign is to be given, and then there are 30 ways of writing this product. So this is your answer. Okay, you see 30 is the, see, suppose one of the ways is, let's say x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2, and then z will be 6. All right, suppose this is one solution out of the 30 solutions. Out of the 30 ways, this is one of the way. Okay, then corresponding to this, either x and y can get negative sign, -2, or x and z can get negative sign, or y and z can get negative sign. Okay, so corresponding to every solution which you had in these 30 solutions, you have that there are 3 ways in which negative sign can be given to two of them. So by multiplication rule, 3c2 into 30 will be the ways in which you can distribute you can have negative factors. So this is 3c2 into 30 is the ways in which you can have negative factors also. Okay, added to it the number of ways in which you can have positive factors only. So 30 plus 3c2 into 30. All right. Now the next question would be, suppose I ask you, suppose you have 10 persons. Okay, suppose you have 10 persons and you have, let's say, 24 fixed seats. You have 10 persons and 24 fixed seats. Okay, now the question is, in how many ways can these 10 persons be in how many ways can these 10 persons be seated in a row of 24 fixed seats such that no two persons take consecutive seats. Okay, so basically you have 24 seats and you want to put 10 persons in these 24 seats such that no two persons take consecutive seats. So again, it's all about how to model this problem. So what you can do is, you see, all right, now suppose the way to, one way to do this would be, you put 10 places, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. All right, okay, let's say these are your 10 places. Okay, these are your 10 persons. Okay, now there are how many gaps? There are 11 gaps. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. All right, let's, okay, now base essentially, so 10 seats are occupied, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. These are the 10 persons to who have to be seated. Okay, now how many remaining seats are there? 14. So let's say y1 is the number of seats here, y2 is the number of seats here, and so on till y11 is the number of seats here. Okay, so basically what we have to do is, we need to distribute 14 identical seats in the 11 gaps, which are y1 y2 y11. Okay, so what you have to do is, you want y1 plus y2 so on till y11 equal to 14. Okay, subject to the condition that y2 y3 so on till y10, they must be greater than equal to 1, right? That is number of people between these two places. For example, number of people between, let's say, this place and this place, that is y2, this should be at least 1, right? This to satisfy the given constraint that between two persons they should not be consecutive, two persons should not take consecutive seats. So y2 is greater than equal to 1. Similarly, y3 is this is greater than equal to 1, so until y10, this should be greater than equal to 1. Okay, and y1 and y11, they can be greater than equal to 0, because there is, because this is the last person, this is the last person here. So to his right you can have any number of seats, doesn't matter. Similarly for this place. Okay, so what you want is, now pay attention how I am modeling the problem. Till now I have not told you that which person will go where, or which persons I have selected, or I have not even told you the arrangement of these 10 people. I'm just saying, you just put 10 marks. What you have, step 1 is, what you can think of it, if you want to write a procedure, step 1 is, put 10 marks. 10 marks. 10 marks means 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, then there are 11 gaps. Okay, which are represented by y1 y2 y3 till y11. So you want solutions to this equation subject to these conditions. All right, now again, the number of solutions would be what? You see, you have from y2 to y10, they should have at least one value should be greater than equal to 1. Okay, now you see the way I'm modeling this problem is I'm saying you distribute 14 identical objects amongst 11 people. Okay, now keep listening. Okay, you have 14 places, you have 14 fixed seats which you want to distribute amongst 11 different gaps. I am saying 11 different gaps, okay, because it matters which gap gets how many seats. Okay, they all will be different cases. Okay, so I'm modeling this in the same way as I modeled the earlier problem where we had n identical objects and you wanted to distribute them amongst r different persons. So I'm doing the same thing here, but I'm not done yet. Okay, so the number of solutions to this equation subject to this condition that you can easily find out, that would be nothing but, well, y2 to y10. So there are 9 people who have at least one, who require at least one. So that is nothing but if you give one each to give one object each to y2 y3 till y10. Okay, so remaining is 5 objects are remaining. Those 5 objects you can distribute amongst 11 persons in arbitrary ways. So your number of solutions will be 5 plus 11 minus 1 c 11 minus 1, which is nothing but 15 c10. Okay, so now you see. Okay, I hope this is clear that why I got 15 c10 as the number of solutions to this. This we have already done so many times, right? You can either think like this, that y2 y3 y4 till y10 they require at least one, so give one each to each of them. Okay, so after you give one each to each of them, 5 will be remaining, 5 objects will be remaining that you distribute amongst 11 people in 11 5 plus 11 minus 1 c 11 minus 1 ways. Okay, all right. Okay, or you could just use the multinomial theorem. Okay, you could just use the multinomial theorem, coefficient of this and all that thing. Okay, it's your wish, whatever you are comfortable with. Okay, so these are the number of ways in which. Now what is 15c10? So basically 15c10 is telling me that if you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, if you have 15c10 way, is 15c10 is just telling me that the number of ways, these are the number of ways in which I can distribute gaps. These are the number of ways in which I can distribute gaps. Okay, these are the number of ways in which I can distribute gaps amongst 10 places. All right, this is just that. Now you see, for example, one of the distribution, let's say this is 0. Suppose y1 is 0. Okay, let's say y2 is 1. Let's say y3 is 1. Y4 is 1. Y5 is 1. Y6 is 1. Y7 is 1. Y8 is 1. Y9 is 1. And this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Let's say this is, let's say y9 is, let's say y10 is 0, y9 y10. Okay, y1 y2 y3 y4 y5 y6 y7 y8 y9 y10. Y10 is, let's say, something, and y10 is 0, and remaining you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this is 6. Okay, suppose this is one solution. Okay, that is y1 equal to so on till y1 is 0. Okay, and y2 equal to so on till y9 is 1. Y1 equal to y11 is 0, and let's say y10 is 6. Okay, suppose this is one solution. What is this telling me? This is just telling me that, okay, this is just telling me that this is one way in which, you know, this is the number of ways in which I can distribute the remaining 14 seats. Okay, out in the remaining 14 seats amongst the 11 gaps that have been created. Okay, I have to see there are 10 persons. Okay, total 10 persons are only there. Only 10 persons are there. So I marked 10 places. Okay, I marked 10 places. Now what I am doing is corresponding to, for example, this solution. What this means is that between person 1 and person 2 there is one seat, between person 2 and person 3 there is one seat, between person 3 and person 4 there is one seat, and so on. Okay, but you see, corresponding to each way, corresponding to each such solution, you can permute the 10 persons also in 10 factorial ways, right? Your question is, in how many ways can 10 persons take seat in a row of 24 fixed seats so that no two persons take consecutive seats? Okay, but corresponding to every solution, this solution was obtained assuming the logic, using the logic that you have n identical objects and you distribute it amongst r persons. So n identical objects were the 14 seats and the r places were the 11 gaps. So corresponding to every such solution, there are 10 factorial ways in which you can you can arrange the 10 people also. So your final answer will be this. Alright, by multiplication rule or fundamental principle of counting. Okay, I hope this is important, because see, what I'm saying is, corresponding to every way in which you distribute the remaining seats. See, 15C10 tells me how you can distribute the remaining 14 seats amongst the 11 gaps, so that the condition of no two persons take consecutive seats is satisfied. Okay, once that is done, that you have found out. So let's say this is person 1, person 2, so on till person 10, and let's say here no person is there, here no seat is there, let's say here 2 seats are there, and so on. Let's say here no seat is there, and between P9 and P10 let's say 5 seats are there. So corresponding to every such distribution of seats, you can permute the 10 persons also in 10 factorial ways, right? So 15C10 into 10 factorial are all the number of ways in which the given condition is satisfied and in which you can seed the 10 persons. Okay, alright. Okay, now a similar question, let's do one more question so that this concept is clear. Let's say you have 3 boys, okay, and 15 girls. Okay, suppose you have 3 boys and 15 girls. In how many ways 3 boys and 15 girls can sit together in a row such that between any 2 boys at least 2 girls sit? Okay, between any 2 boys at least 2 girls sit. So again, it is very simple to model this problem. You see, you place the 3 boys, let's say B1, B2, B3. Okay, let Y1 be the number of girls to the left of B1, let Y2 be the number of girls between B1 and B2, and let Y3 be the number of girls between B2 and B3, and let Y4 be the number of girls here. Okay, now clearly Y1 and Y4 can be greater than equal to 0, but Y2 and Y3, both of them should be greater than equal to 2. So essentially what you are saying is you want number of solutions to this equation. Okay, now once you find the number of solutions to this equation, that will be nothing but 4, 11, this will be nothing but 14C3. Okay, number of solutions to this system is 14C3. But what is 14C3 telling me? 14C3 is just telling me that how many girls are present here, how many girls are present here, how many girls are present here, and how many girls are present here. Okay, it is not telling me, it is only giving me the number of girls and number of girls present. It is not telling me which girl is present where. Okay, but that is also important. That is also important here. Ordering is also important. So now, first of all, you can permute the 3 boys in 3 factorial ways and the girls in 15 factorial ways, right? 14C3 is telling you distribution of 15 girls amongst 4 different gaps. 15 girls, assuming they are all alike. Assuming they, see, look at the way we are modeling the problem. Assuming they are all alike. First we assume that they are all alike and we distribute 15 girls in these 4 different gaps. Because I say different gaps because Y1 takes 4, y2 takes 1, or y1 takes 4, or y2 takes 1, they are different cases. Okay, so it matters which variable takes what value. Okay, so they are all different cases, because that will decide the distribution. One distribution, let's say, could be b1, between b1 and b2, let's say there are 10 girls. Okay, let's say here there are 0 girls, then let's say here there are 2 girls. Okay, and then remaining 3 girls are here. Okay, this is one distribution. So 10 girls are here, 2 girls are here, 3 girls are here. This is different from this case, when between b1 and b2 2 girls are there, between b2 and b3 10 girls are there, and here 3 girls are there, and here 0. So these two are different cases. Okay, now once you have this distribution, now you can arrange the boys also. You can arrange the boys corresponding to every such solution. For example, like this red box, you can permute the boys in 3 factorial ways, and you can permute the 15 girls in 15 factorial ways, right? All of them will be mutually they will be different cases, because when you permute for example, corresponding to this, 0 girls here, 10 girls here, 3 girls here, and let's say 2 girls here. Okay, now when you corresponding, this is one solution, right? This is y1 equal to 0, y2 equal to 10, y3 equal to 3, and y4 equal to 2. This is one solution. Corresponding to this solution, you have 3 factorial ways of arranging the boys, and when you do 15 factorial, you do 15 factorial. That 15 factorial will be the arrangement of girls, but this condition will still be satisfied, that 10 girls are here, 3 girls are here, 2 girls are here. But we have to take into account that which 10 girls are here, which 3 girls are here, which 2 girls are here. So 15 factorial we have done like this. We have just permuted these 15 objects such that 10 are here, 3 are here, and 2 are here. Similarly for every solution. So the answer would be 14C3 into 15 factorial into 3 factorial. Okay. Alright. Okay. Now let's let's solve some more questions. Let's say okay, suppose I have 22 different books. Okay, let's say I have 22 different books, and I want to distribute them amongst 5 students. Okay, such that 2 students get, I'm not saying 2 particular students, any 2 students, but 2 students should get 5 books each, and all the remaining students should get 4 books each. Okay, so one method of doing this is, first of all, select 2 students to whom 5 books each are to be given. Okay, now don't do this 5C1 into 4C1, because then order in which the 2 students are selected, that will also matter, but that is immaterial. Okay. Okay, so first of all, select 2 students to whom 5 books each are to be given. Then give 5 books each. Out of 22, select any 5 books. Now here order matters. Now which 5 books are being given to which student, that is important. So first of all, select 22 books. Out of 22 books, select 5 books to the first student. Then out of remaining 17 books, give 5 books to the second student. Then out of the remaining 12 books, give 4 books to the third student, then give 4 books to the fourth student, and remaining 4 books to the fifth student. This is one way of doing this. Okay, another way of doing this would be, another way of looking at the same thing is, you see, if you ask me that Okay, we did 5C2 here. We selected 2 students together. So why can't we select, 10 books together? Yes, very good. Select 10 books together, which you want to give to these 2 students. Okay. Now, once you have selected these 10 books, now it is important that which 5 books go to which of these 2 students. So what I'm saying is, select students together, then select 10 books together, which are to be distributed amongst these 2 students. Okay. Now what I can do is, now you see I have 10 books. So what I can do is, I can do grouping. I can say that 10 factorial upon 5 factorial, 5 factorial, 2 factorial. This is the number of ways of grouping of 10 different objects into 2 groups of group size 5. So group size is 5. Okay. And there are 2 groups of group size 5. So these are the number of ways in which I can form 2 groups, each of group size 5. Okay. Now once I have formed these many groups, I have to distribute them amongst two students. So into 2 factorial. Okay. So till now what I have done is, I have selected first 2 students. Okay. Then I have selected 10 books which I want to give to these 2 students. Then I made groups. Then I made groups of 2 groups of group size 5 each. Okay. And then I distributed those 2 groups amongst 2 students in 2 factorial ways. Okay, this we have done before. And then remaining part is same. Remaining 12 books, 12C4 into 8C4 into 4C4. Yet another way of thinking about this problem is, you see, you want to give five books to 2 of the students and 4 books to the remaining, each to the remaining student. So basically the grouping that you are looking at is this. Okay, this is the grouping you are looking at. So what are the number of ways of forming 5 groups such that 2 groups are of size 5? So there are 2 groups which are of size 5. Then then 3 groups of size 4 each, 4 factorial cube, and there are 3 numbers, so 3 factorial. Okay. And then once you have formed these groups, then you can distribute them among 5 students in 5 factorial ways. So this is another way of looking at this problem. Okay. All right. Okay. Now let's see. Okay, let's do one more question. Okay, suppose a university has to send 10 profs to 5 centers. Okay, for some entrance exam. 10 profs to 5 centers, 2 to each center. Okay, 2 to each center. Okay, 2 of the centers are in city A. Okay, while others are outside. Okay, now the question is still not complete. Two of the profs this is, I'm solving this particular problem just to questions can be little bit twisted. This is just a twisted, it's given in a twisted kind of way. So I'm just for your practice, I'm just giving this kind of question. Otherwise it's very straightforward, there's nothing much to it. Now 2 of the profs, they prefer to work in city A. Okay, while 3 prefer working outside. Okay, so the question is, in how many ways? So basically you have, this is your question, A university has to send 10 profs to 5 centers, 2 to each center. 2 of the centers are in city A, while others are outside city A. 2 of the profs prefer to work in city A, while 3 prefer to work outside. Okay, then in how many ways can this be done if the preferences are to be satisfied? Okay, so you can pause the video and think about this for a moment, and let me give you the solution. Now you see, uh, out of the now see 5 professors, see 2 professors, let's say uh, let's say A1 and A2, they are 2 professors who prefer to work in city A, and NA1 and NA2 and NA3, let's say they are 3 professors who prefer to work outside city A. Okay, so these are gone. Let's say separate them. Out of the 5 remaining professors who can work anywhere, okay, out of the 5, one way to think, there can be multiple ways to solve this, I am giving just one solution. Out of the remaining 5 professors who can work anywhere, okay, select 2 for the centers in the city A. Select 2 for centers in city A. Okay, now you have, okay, so now in city, 2 of the profs prefer to work in city A. Okay, 2 prefer to work in city A, and 3 prefer working outside. Now you have 2 centers are in city A, right? Now you see the thinking process is like this: 2 of the centers are in city A, right? So you need 4 professors for city A. You need 4 professors for city A. So what I do is, 2 I already have, A1 and A2, who prefer to work in city A, I already have. I need 2 more professors. Okay, I need 2 more professors for the centers in city A. So I select 2 professors from the remaining 5 ones who can work anywhere. Okay, now I have 4 professors with me. Now I can form, these are the number of groups I can form, right? These are the number of ways of, this is the number of ways of grouping 4 professors into 2 groups, each of group size 2. This is for the center in, this is for 2 centers in city A, for the 2 centers in city A. Okay, once I have formed the groups, now I have formed 2 groups of each of group size 2. Okay, so distribute the 2 formed groups amongst the 2 centers in 2 factorial ways. Okay, done. So first of all, what I have done is, I have, from the 5 remaining professors who can work anywhere, I selected 2 of them. Okay, see, 3 of them prefer to work outside, so I can't choose those for these for the centers in city A. Okay, so I have only 5 options. Out of these 5, select 2. Then I have now 4 professors with me. 2 A1 and 1 is 1 A1, A2 and 2 out of these 5. So form groups. Form 2 groups. Divide them into 2 groups of group size, each group size 2. Okay. Now these are the number of ways in which you can form the 2 groups, right? Now you distribute those 2 groups amongst the 2 centers in 2 factorial ways. Okay. Similarly, in 2, this whole expression multiplied by, now you have 6 remaining profs. 4 profs have gone to city A. 4 profs have gone to city A. Now you have 6 professors remaining. Now divide those 6 professors into 3 groups, each of group size 2, right? And distribute them in the amongst the 3 centers. This will tell you the number of ways in which you can form 3 groups, each of group size 2. Let's say object 1, object 2, object 3, object 4, object 1, object 2, object 4, object 5, object 3, object 4, object 5, object 6, or object 1, object 6, object 2, object 4, and object 3, object 5. All those ways, right? This will tell you the ways in which the professors can be grouped. Okay, this will tell you the number of ways of grouping the 6 props, number of ways in which you can form group to, 3 groups, each of group size 2. Okay, once you have formed the groups, you can send them to any of the 3 centers, and that can be done in 3 factorial ways. Okay, you have 3 groups, right? And 3 groups can be distributed in the 3 centers in 3 factorial ways. Okay, so this is your answer. So 5c2 into this expression into this expression, that is your answer. So this is one way of looking at this problem. There can be other ways also. So I strongly suggest that you look at different ways of solving the problems. That will be very helpful for concept building and proper understanding. Okay, so that's it for today, folks, and I hope to see you in the next lecture. Okay.